So in this question, we're asked, what is the domain of the tangent function? Okay, so we want to find that. When you're trying to find domain, what you should ask yourself, it's usually easier, is to ask yourself, what values are not in the domain? Okay. So what we want to know is what values can't be plugged in as an angle into the tangent function. So what values give out an undefined function? Well, we know that tangent is equal to the sine over the cosine. And we know that this thing won't be defined when cosine is equal to 0. So we want to make sure that the angle is not doesn't produce a cosine value of 0. So let's look what angles do produce cosine values of 0. So if you think about the unit circle, we're looking at left-right movement because we're dealing with cosine. So cosine equals 0 at the following angles. There is no left-right movement up here, and there is no left-right movement down here. So that's going to give us a 90-degree angle and a 270-degree angle. So every other value will work except for angles that are coterminal with those two. So what angles are coterminal with 90 degrees? Well, anything that's 360 either more or less, or a multiple of 360 more or less to those angles. So 90 degrees plus 360 degrees times k, where k is an element of the integers. What does that mean? That means k is a number. So remember, the integers, that's the set of values that go in that. Okay. So if you plug in any of these values up here for k right here, and you determine this, those will be the values that don't work. Okay. So 270 plus 360k, where k is an element of the integers, is also a restriction on the domain. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that theta can be any angle it wants. Okay, so we can write this as the domain of the tangent. I guess we could put a little t down here for tangent. So the domain of the tangent is going to be any number except for these. So we would say that theta could be any real number, so in degrees, okay? So theta can be, I'm just going to write this out in words, it'll be just as easy for you. Theta can be any number except theta cannot equal, whoops, that's supposed to be a theta, looks like a q. Okay, except theta cannot equal 90 degrees plus 360k and, or, however you want to, or theta cannot equal 270 degrees plus 360k. So the domain is any number except for those multiples. If you want to write this in radians, switch your 90 degrees to pi over 2, and switch your 360 to 2 pi. Same thing down here, switch your 270 to 3 pi over 2, and again, switch your 360 to 2 pi.